Josh, you want to ride Everest right?
You will never break that.
And it's our tradition.
We're roller coaster man.
We're riding together on Mount Everest. We're riding together on Mount Everest.
You and me? Okay.
So his name is quite dumb. Simba's name is quite literally Lion.
Uh-huh.
His name is Lion.
Yeah. Asante Sana.
And you want to drink a Coke?
Yes.
No, Josh, you can.
No, you almost hit me.
Josh, when we get on the ride, that goes in the bag, okay? Because I don't want to leave it on the train and then you get, or the bus, whatever. Safari vehicle, and then you get upset.
Hello, hello. Who joined us? Hold on a second. I might go topsy-turvy for a second. I'm going to rebalance. There we go. Much better. Hello, Melissa. Getting on the safari. Decided we're going to have ourselves a wild trek. This is Mrs. Wolf's favorite piece here at Animal Kingdom.
Keep going, Dad's walking. Step on it. Chelsea, look at the birds over here. To your right. Look at the funny heads.
Those are the crown.
Hello, everybody joining. Yes, ma'am, Miss Bell. We are going on a safari. No, we are not the little Einsteins. I tell you what, EOE, I learned a life-saving thing here at this vacation. Crocs. Buy them, wear them, love them. I spent the first 3 days we were here in excruciating pain with my feet. I bought a pair of Crocs the other night, then wore them all day yesterday, and I've worn them today. And my feet are tired from the walking, but they are no longer in pain.
And keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle. Our trucks do not stop very often, and the road can be quite
Yes, sir, Mr.
rough
Osh.
and bumpy with heavy brush and both
I am now a full, firm believer in Crocs. You know, and the sad part was I've been hearing about Crocs for being, for here for years. And I kept thinking, I was like, how could that be any comfortable in your feet walking all day? Now I know.
Enjoy your safari with your own eyes and with the family and friends who are on the safari with you. As you pass by the Safa River near the Hippo Reserve, you may notice some of our more adventurous guests exploring the park on foot. This is just one part of Harambe's Wild Africa trek, a privately guided 3-hour bushwalk through the Safi River Valley that
Yep,
gets you
my Crocs have got, they're black with Mickey,
in their
see?
natural habitats. Halfway through the trek, a safari lunch is served here in this Boma.
So obviously I paid about $10 or $15 more for them because
Limited,
they're Disney.
So be certain to book your adventure in advance.
Crocs are normally like $45, $50.
No, they're not. They're like $25, $30 at
I
home.
thought they were like not that cheap.
But you paid, like I said, we paid an extra $20 because they have
As the sun sets
Mickey heads on
and
them.
the savannah goes dark, the Harambe Wildlife Reserve becomes
And you bought it at
a whole new
Disney.
world.
Yeah, and I bought them at Disney.
Many new things to see and even more new things to hear.
Are you gonna sit with me on this ride? Okay. Mom, we should do this at night.
I like. If it was my way and I could do whatever I
A
wanted,
nighttime safari
I would
is
do
very
this my very
different.
first thing and my very last thing.
Think about it, Eric.
Jungle everyone, or as we say in my South African hometown, Sanibona.
Some animals are really active at night.
Like the lions would be more active at night.
Yeah, lions would be more active before the end of the day. Because they're getting up to get ready to play.
I'm more active right now.
We're all more active right now.
Actually, no, I'm pretty tired. I'm glad today kind of closes off early.
Are you warm enough to take it off? Okay.
Although chips
Josh, Miss Schoolbell says hi.
No, we took out the chips.
Huh?
So we think we took out the chips.
There's a bag of Cheetos for fruit snacks. I don't know whose Cheetos those are.
Those are mine.
Well, I'm gonna have these food trucks.
Go for it. There was a breakfast bar in there too. I don't know if it's still in there or not.
It is. I just didn't grab it in enough time.
I'll order that whenever we come back from that.
See, Dad was trying to pack a few little snackies. Yeah, it is finally starting to warm up. I think maybe because I'm older, my blood runs a little thinner now. I'm not ready to take off my Spirit jersey just yet.
That was really good.
I'm so chilly in the shade. I don't want to be cold and then warm and cold and warm.
Yeah, really. We don't want to get sick, like legit sick while we're here because we get temperatures we can't go into the parks. See my Spirit jersey? Hold on. Here.
Hold on, I'm turning you. It's just black with the white Walt Disney World on it.
This is mine. Technically it's yours. But
There you go.
technically this is yours, but
I have to know I looked cute yesterday with my mask, that, my Ready Earth.
I look cute with this.
Yeah, you look
Yes, ma'am. That's why I like it.
Look, look.
What?
Animals have the right way.
Do you want your jacket back? See, I told you.
It wasn't as warm as you thought, was it?
That's why I didn't put it in the backpack either.
I'm putting mine on just my arm.
Come on, Mickey.
There they are, guys. We're getting closer. Actually, I bought it over at. I bought mine at Disney Springs, didn't I?
Disney Spring and the World of Disney store.
Yeah. I bought it in World of Disney. I didn't think I'd be wearing it just yet, but yesterday morning, it was cold down here. It was like, I don't think it ever got above 40 degrees all day.
Josh, you need help?
Securely store
Come here,
any
baby, I'll help you.
personal items. And if
Oh,
you are
excuse me.
in night safari, don't forget to turn off the flash on your camera or
Put it
phone.
in your mask.
No
Once
flash
again,
top.
have a wonderful safari. And as we say here in Harambe, Haribuni, welcome aboard.
Well, when we were here a couple of years ago, I ended up buying Mrs. Wolf the rose gold Spirit jersey to match her ears for Christmas. And then she's been on a Spirit jersey kick since then. I think we've bought 3 now this trip.
I have the red one.
She has the red one here that the Junior Wolf is wearing.
He's gonna sit down about that.
I have this one.
And then the one she's wearing, which is like mine, but it's green.
Great.
Gray, yeah.
And I'm wearing Mickey.
Excuse my color blindness.
I'm wearing Mickey.
And he wanted Mickey.
And then I bought a
Please
zip-up hoodie.
locate the nearest trash bin.
And then I bought a zip-up.
A zip-up hoodie, and I also bought a couple of zip-up hoodies. I got all the 2020 stuff right now is discounted 70% off. So I bought a 2020 Disney World hoodie that was really nice for like less than 20 bucks. But we went to Pandora earlier, and they kind of had a hoodie that I couldn't pass up that may or may not have cost the neighborhood of about $60.
It's okay, my bag was 75.
Yeah, I always feel guilty when I make big purchases ever for myself. When I'm doing it for somebody else, it don't bother me, but I guess that's like the parent in me. You know, I'm always worried, wanting to make sure that I got enough for the kids.
Mom, me and you are up front.
Oh, for sure.
You want Eric to take pictures on here?
Yeah.
Eric, do you want to take pictures for us?
Not really, but I guess I will.
If you don't want to, that's fine.
Beck will do it.
I was just trying to be nice.
I know how many people.
Technically, we could probably cram in there in one row, but I hope they don't do that to us. Makes me feel like the starting gates for the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, right?
And they're off. Oh, we're up next, EOE. Prepared for a little bouncing. I'm hoping this gimbal will take care of some of that. I make no promises. Okay, good. You said 3 and 4? Did you say 2 and 3 or 3 and 4?
So
Oh.
Eric, you need to go there.
Bienvenidos a Kilimanjaro Safari. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados.
Do what?
Mantengan las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro
Ask
del
Eric
tren.
if you can sit on the outside.
Cuiden a sus niños. Gracias.
He's taking a video for school, babe.
And welcome to Kilimanjaro Safari.
Thank you.
Before you begin your trip, you should know that the unpaved roads of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve pass through rough and rugged terrain. You may experience bumps and sudden jolts on your safari adventure. To ensure a safe and pleasant trip, you should be in good health and free from high blood pressure, heart,
We're having some attitude issues right now. Sorry.
or other conditions that could be aggravated by this adventure. Expected mothers should not ride. Once on board your safari transport, please remain seated with your hands, arms, feet and legs inside, and remember to watch your children. Your transport will be arriving shortly.
We got plenty of room. Dad, you got plenty of room?
Yeah.
You got plenty of room, baby.
Alright, friends on the truck, got your hands on, feet and legs on the right hand side. Doors are sliding shut. Asante sign awarded. We will see you in about 2 weeks. Well, Jumbo, everyone. Hello, friends. My name is Jordan. I'm going to be your safari guide here today on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Now, before we head into the reserve, my friends, let's go over some safety rules. Go ahead and make sure we do remain seated at all times for me, friends. Keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle. Any little ones are allowed to sit on your lap for a better view, but I do need them to stay seated the entire time. It's very bumpy out here. We don't want anyone to fall over and get hurt. And of course, have those face coverings covering both your nose and mouth for our entire journey, for your safety and the safety of those around you. So we're going to make our way inside the Little Terry Forest. This is our first stop out here on the reserve. A lot of animals can be kind of shy, like this okapi out here on the right-hand side. Now the okapi is a pretty tricky animal. As you can see, they do have stripes, just like a zebra. However, the okapi's closest known living relative is actually going to be a giraffe. The okapi and the giraffe, they do share a lot of similarities, and one of which is their really long prehensile tongue. Now, prehensile means it's kind of finger-like, it's very muscular. They can actually wrap it around things and grip it. So the okapi, they really like to use that long tongue to clean their ears and their eyeballs. Very good at hiding as well. Weren't founded by Western society as a real animal until 1901. Before then, people actually thought the okapi was a mythological being.
Good.
Keep an eye on. I see some footprints all around this area here. A lot of animals. Very good at camouflage. They're going to have a certain kind of pattern or coloration on their coat that makes it easier for them to blend in. Does look like there's going to be some coming up here on our right-hand side. Some lovely ladies in tan up here on the right. These are greater kudu. Now the kudu here, these are all females because they do not have any horns, only the males do. Those large ears do help them pick up any sort of sounds out and around in the area. They do hang out in groups of around 3 to 10. They're also hanging out with some animals here on the left-hand side. This is called the bongo. The orange animals out here on the left. Now with bongos, both males and females have horns. They do curl back. Sometimes those horns will actually cross over each other, help them navigate through the thick underbrush of the forest. Now the bongo and the kudu, they both have those stripes on their back. That's that pattern or coloration that helps them blend in. It's something called disruptive camouflage. So when they're standing around in the bushes and trees, those stripes will actually break up their silhouette and make it harder for any potential predators to spot them. We're going to continue following the water down and around here to the Safi River. This is where some of our a little more aggressive and territorial animals do like to hang out. So we're going to keep a pretty safe distance from the water there, just to be sure. But all of these animals, they can actually spend a pretty extended period of time underneath the water. So we'll check and see if anyone's hanging out underneath the water. It does look like we might find a couple here on the left-hand side. If you look in the distance, you'll spot some Nile hippopotamus actually hanging out underneath the water. A group of hippos is called a bloat a hippo. It's a very fitting name for them. Don't let their large size and cute faces fool you though. Nile hippo are actually the #1 most dangerous animal in Africa. They're very aggressive, very territorial as well. Their jaw strength is so strong they can crush a watermelon in just one bite. They do spend a lot of time underneath the water, as you can see. They can actually hold their breath for about 8 minutes.
He just snorted at me.
They can sleep under the water as well. Their body actually has a natural response that sends them up for air and sinks them back down into the water without the hippo ever having to actually wake up.
That's cool.
Now the pelicans out there on the island, those are the pink-backed pelicans. Their back turns a little more of a pinkish color during mating season, but they are colonial nesters, nesting in large groups, anywhere from 5 to 50 pairs of pelicans at one time. We'll swing our way around to my favorite bridge out here on the reserve, though. This is Croc Bridge. It gets its name because, well, we might spot a few Nile crocodile out there on the left-hand side. Of course, a great time to remind everyone to remain seated. After all, these are very real and very dangerous animals, and I know it looks like they don't move much, but they're just really good at conserving energy. They really only move when necessary. As I'm sure you can tell, they are quite large. The largest recording of a Nile crocodile growing was actually about 20 feet in length. That is going to be just as long as some giraffes can grow tall, so they can grow to be pretty big, pretty scary, but those Nile crocodile are actually really, really good parents. Both the mom and the dad are very protective of their young. They actually will take the eggs and roll it around in their mouth a little bit. A little bit of a unique parenting behavior, but it is going to help those babies in the long run once it comes time for them to hatch. But we're going to make our way away from the forest, away from the river down there. Little change of scenery as we make our way here into the savannah. The savannah is the largest and longest section out here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserves. Of course, there is a huge variety of animals for us to spot out here today. Some animals you may be familiar with, some fan favorites like giraffes and lions and cheetahs and elephants, and some animals you might not be too familiar with, but don't worry, that's where I come in. And of course, there's also that lovely spotting guide up above you as well. Just in case you haven't spotted it yet, we'll make our way on down. I see a lot more activity hanging around the hills out there. We do see a couple giraffes in the distance, some zebra, as well as some smaller springbok out there. So we'll start making our way up and around over them. But first we'll stop by this den area here. Sometimes we can get lucky with seeing a little more of our predatory animals, like African wild dogs that like to hang out around this den here. So we'll see if any are hanging out here today. So keep your eyes peeled out here on the left-hand side. Sometimes they like to hang out just behind the den, so we'll see if maybe we can catch a little bit of a better look on the other side here. It doesn't look like they're too active. Oh, you might have just seen one just over the top of that rock there.
Yeah.
Sticking
Yeah.
out. Did you see it?
A little hard to see, but that's alright, because we'll move on up so you guys can see these sable antelope out here on the far left-hand side.
Look at them, Chelsea.
Now these are all going to be female sables. They are more of a reddish color. Male sables, they are more of a black coloration. The more dominant sable in the group is going to have the darker, more saturated coat. Now those long curved horns, they help them protect their backs against predators like lions that do like to jump on the backs of their prey. They're very good at protecting themselves. They're quite territorial as well, so they do actually fend off smaller animals that try to get a little too close to their group. So a lot of animals don't really mess with them. They do tend to just leave them alone over there in their corner. But we're gonna see some of those smaller animals be coming up here in just a second. They're gonna be coming up on our far left out here. They're the small kind of tan, black, and white ones out there. They do kind of look like s'mores. Those are springbok. Now the springbok get their name because they do spring up into the air. They can jump anywhere from 6 to 9 feet straight up into the air standing still. When they get a running start, they can actually clear an opening of roughly 13 feet. So they may be small, but they're definitely powerful, especially when it comes to jumping.
There's one right next to the road on that side.
I do have an activity called pronking, and pronking's where all those springbok, they just start running and jumping at the same time. Now they can do it if they're happy and excited, however, they have also been known to do it if they sense any danger in the area. It's a great way to confuse any potential predators, as well as alert any other springbok in the area. Right now, it looks like there is a lot of activity happening on these hills. Not only do I see some zebras, I also see a herd of wildebeest as well as some Ankole cattle way at the top of the hill. They're going to be those animals with really big horns on top of their heads. We're going to get a better look at the springbok as well as the zebra. Now the zebra here on the reserve are Hartmann's mountain zebra. Mountain zebras are going to have really, really small little feet. They also have a little extra piece of skin hanging off their neck. That's called a dewlap. Those are going to be two ways you can tell Hartmann's mountain zebras apart from other species, like the Grant or Grevy's zebra. A group of zebras, that's called a dazzle of zebras. There's a younger zebra out here we'll keep an eye out for them, a baby zebra. When a baby zebra is first born, they're able to be up and running with the rest of the dazzle in as little as 20 minutes after birth. Now the wildebeest out here are white-bearded wildebeest as well as brindle-bearded wildebeest. Now white-bearded wildebeest are going to have a little more of a white beard. Brindle-bearded wildebeest have more of a salt and pepper look to their beard. That's how you can tell them apart. They are a migratory species. They're always on the move. They travel thousands of miles in a year. They also travel in really large groups as well. So a herd of wildebeest traveling the same direction as another herd will actually join up to form larger groups. The largest recording of that was about 1.5 million wildebeest traveling together at one time. Well, the giraffe hanging out on the hillside up there as well. Now these are Maasai giraffe. Maasai giraffe have a little more of a messy looking spot. A couple eland out here as well. We'll pass by 2 females on the right hand side, a larger male on the left out there. Male is a little more gray in color as well as just a little more burly compared to the females here. At shoulder height, that male can stand about 6 feet tall. Now, despite their large size, those eland can also jump about 6 feet into the air as well. Their horns have that corkscrew shape near the base to help them dig out any sort of plant matter or obstacles in their way. We'll pass by this giraffe hanging out on the hillside up there. A group of giraffes is called a tower of giraffes. You can see them kind of hanging out there on the right. Now they love to eat. That is a giraffe's favorite pastime. They spend so much time eating, but they spend a very small amount of time doing pretty much anything else, including things like sleeping. Giraffes actually only sleep an average of about 30 minutes a day.
Wow. Only 30 minutes.
Wish I could get away with that.
They do take little naps here and there. Sometimes those giraffes do sleep standing up, and even sometimes with their eyes wide open. As we make our way around here, I'm actually going to kind of turn the corner so you guys can get a better look at these African elephants here on the right-hand side. And some mandrills out here on the left. We'll check out the mandrills before we make our way to the corner. You can see that bigger male sitting on top of that rock there. That is the dominant male in the group. You can tell because the coloration is much, much brighter than the other ones. That bright coloration is going to help lead the family around the bushes and trees out here. The bright coloration actually kind of acts like car blinders, so that way no one gets lost. You can check out those elephants over your right-hand side out there. Now, of course, since we are here in Africa, those are African elephants. You can tell them apart from, say, Asian elephants based on the size and shape of their ears. African elephants have much larger ears. They are also in the shape of Africa as well, to help you out a little trick there. Now sometimes you might notice with elephants, they do tend to look a little dirty and dusty, especially there on their backs. They do like to toss things like dirt, mud, and sand up onto their backs and bodies. It will help keep them cool on hotter days, as well as protect their skin, kind of like a sunscreen. They do actually have pretty sensitive skin, just like we do. Now we'll keep on going on over this bridge. You can find a couple more elephants around this area. They do like to hang out here. There's a large amount of vegetation, as you can see, watering holes for them to drink out of. There's also some red clay pits out and around this area as well. And elephants, they like to come up into these clay pits and use their tusks to actually dig out the clay. And they do chew on it, fairly similar to how we as humans are going to chew on things like bubble gum. However, the red clay provides them with vitamins and minerals that they do need to keep them happy and healthy. There's some of those tusk marks actually right there on the right-hand side. See how they dig out the clay with those tusks? Now they'll use the tusks for a lot of things, but they're going to use their trunk for way more. Elephant's trunk is super muscular, and the very tip of that trunk is prehensile, so they can actually pinch it together and pick things up with it. Fairly delicate as well. They can actually pick up something as small as a single peanut with the very tip of their trunk. I think I see a couple more hanging out up on the left-hand side. It looks like it might be a full herd of elephants. Now, they're going to be a matriarchal society, mainly women in the group. Better look at a giraffe coming up here on the left-hand side as well.
It says hello.
You're not going to find too many males in a herd of elephants. Once males do mature, they do actually get kicked out from the matriarch for being a little too aggressive compared to the females. Older male elephants will take on some of those younger males. They actually do teach them how to live by themselves for a little bit before eventually heading off separate ways. And we do call those bachelor herds. Now sometimes you might check out giraffes. Their tongues are really long, kind of a blackish dark color as well. That's actually believed to prevent them from being sunburnt on their tongues. They do eat so much, like I said, during the day. Giraffes, their tongues are actually pretty proportional to their body size as well. So say a giraffe's about 19 feet tall, their tongue's going to be about 19 inches long. Better view of the Ankole cattle out there as well, the ones with the really big horns. Also called the Watusi cattle, after the Watusi tribe that first domesticated them. The horns are really big, but not too heavy. Some of the larger ones out there only weighing about 10 pounds each, and that's because those horns have a very unique hollow honeycomb structure inside of them. And now a better look at the elephants out here on the left-hand side. And sometimes you might see them flapping those ears back and forth to create a nice cooling wind over their back. And doing so, they can actually lower down their body temperature by about 15 degrees. So it's almost like having your own personal air conditioning unit on you. Hanging around the corner here, it looks like this is home to these flamingo. Now these are going to be greater flamingo, and you can tell because they're a little bit larger in size, as well as the lightest shade of pink out of all the flamingo species. You'll see a couple flamingos in there that are a little more of a white, kind of grayish color. Those are in fact baby flamingos. Flamingos are not born pink, they are born that kind of whitish gray color. So they get the pink coloration from their diet, and that consists of things like shrimp. Shrimp has something called the beta carotene in it. So it turns this flamingos a lovely shade of pink. A group of flamingos that is called a flamboyance of flamingos. Pretty fitting name for them. Now, you may have noticed those flamingos, they stand around on one foot. It was kind of baffled scientists for a while as to how they did that. They did recently find out that they actually can lock the joints in their legs, so they balance better on one leg than they do on two. On the left-hand side, a beautiful view of the scimitar horned oryx. Now, this is a very special animal. The scimitar horned oryx is actually critically endangered. You will not find them out in the wild anymore. They are only kept on zoos and reserves, and that is to protect their low numbers against things like poaching and natural predators that could bring
battery
them
life
completely to extinction.
because the gimbal has to run in sync with the Bluetooth.
Their numbers actually have risen quite a bit within the last couple of years.
So if it dies on
There was a recent project in Chad. They released a large group of them onto a reserve, hoping that they would raise those numbers pretty high, and they did. They went from in the double digits up to almost 100. So they're slowly getting their numbers back, but it's us helping them as well, protecting them to get those numbers back up. They used to live in kind of dry, arid environments, so scimitar horned oryx can go 9 months without a single drop of water. If you look on the left-hand side, you're going to see a large pile of cheetahs. There's one walking more in the middle there as well. Those two laying together to conserve their heat. Well, cheetahs are the fastest land mammal alive. They can run anywhere from 65 even up to top speeds of 75 miles per hour. Now, they are sprinters, not marathon runners. So cheetahs can run really fast, but not for very long. Their bodies do tend to overheat if they run too fast for too long. They're actually fairly similar to domestic house cats at home as well. Cheetahs do not roar like other big cats. They do make kind of meow and chirping sounds. They're also one of the only big cats known to purr as well. We're going to swing our way around here. It looks like there's a lovely feathered lady. She might be getting in the road, so we're going to slow down here and go poly-poly, which does mean very slowly. This is a female ostrich. She does have a little more of a grayish coloration of feathers. Male ostriches are going to have more of a solid black color. Now, ostriches, they have a really powerful peck as well as a very strong kick and sharp talons on her toes. Ostriches, their talons can actually grow to be about 4 inches in length.
Oh, she's going up to the other truck.
Looks like there's a little bit more of a holdup up ahead.
Uh-oh, we
We're
got
making
back
our
up.
way
I
on
think
up to a large Kopi formation. That's what this large collection of rocks is called. Now, you might not be too familiar with the word Kopi, but there is a pretty famous Kopi rock formation. It's going to be Pride Rock from the Lion King. So we'll check out and see if
The ostrich is walking right next to
there's
the truck.
any lions hanging around on this
that's funny.
Kopi today. They do like to hang out on top of those rocks. It's a great place
The
for them to
ostrich that walked
sunbathe,
in
which
front of us
nice
is
on
walking up
days like
next to
this, where
this
it's a
other
little
truck in
cooler.
front of us, like walking along with them.
We'll hold because it does look like that ostrich is holding up the truck in front of us. Now, ostriches, they do have really large wings, but they cannot fly. They are, in fact, flightless birds. They're going to use those wings to help them change directions when running around at high speeds. And I will say it is a myth, ostriches, they do not stick their head in the sand when they are afraid. There's a behavior kind of similar to that where they will press their head and neck against the ground to make them seem smaller, but most of the time they do prefer to just run away from their problems. Looks like she hung out Over there, we're gonna pass a smaller goat-like animal here on the right-hand side. That's a Bontebok. You'll see it laying down on top of that hill there. Bontebok translates to patchwork buck. Large amount of colors there on their skin. And there's a couple white rhinos out in the distance as well on the right-hand side here now. Don't worry, we are gonna swing around to catch a better glimpse of them. The white rhinos are more of a social group, so you're gonna see them in a large amount. Group of rhinos is called a crash rhinos. Pretty fitting name for them.
They're laying down over here on the grass.
Rhinos do tend to crash into things quite a bit. Not because they're aggressive, but rather because rhinos actually have really bad eyesight. They can't see too clearly in front of them, so they do rely pretty heavily on their hearing. They can actually pivot their ears around individual to one another, kind of like tiny satellites. Now we'll pull it up because I do see that pride of lions hanging out here on the left-hand side. They're all kind of laying down right there on the left here.
See his name.
Now if you look actually on that top rock, you can see the backside of a female lion up there.
On the top rock. So you see his face now.
Now it's not surprising that the lions are not too active. Lions are actually only active for about an average 4 hours out of the day. The rest of it they do spend kind of lounging around and conserving their energy. The females are the ones that go out and hunt at night. The male stays back. His job is to keep a watch over the territory and any cubs that they may have as well. Oh, now it looks like we're going to get a great view of the rhinos coming up and around here. Oh, no, they are very close to the road, so we are going to go, like I said, poly-poly before. Now, rhinos are going to have a little more of a flat and rounded lip. That flat and rounded lip is because they graze more in the grasses than eat off of bushes and trees like the black rhino does. We're going to go poly-poly on by here. Now, these rhinos, they do have 2 horns there. And their horns are made of something called keratin. Now, keratin is actually the very same thing that our fingernails and our hair are made out of. We're going to go nice and slow on by them. Like I said before, they do have very sensitive hearing, so try your best not to make any sudden loud noises. Rhinos can charge up to speeds of about 35 miles an hour, which is pretty fast considering my truck only goes a maximum speed of about 8 miles an hour. Going nice and slow on by them. Now if you check out here on the right hand side, you're going to catch a glimpse of a couple ostrich eggs there, laid by those lovely ladies. A couple water buck out in the distance as well. As you can see, those ostrich eggs are really, really big, just like the ostrich themselves. One ostrich egg is actually going to equal about 2 dozen chicken eggs.
Be a heck of a breakfast.
And an individual egg can weigh about 5 pounds. But we're going to continue our way up and around here, making our way out of the savannah into our newest area. Now this section here on the reserve, this is called Magadi Glen. Now, Magadi Glen is currently undergoing a little bit of construction right now. So there's no animal friends hanging out currently, but you guys can check out our latest construction project. We are super excited about it. Coming up here on the left-hand side, that's right, very excited about it. It is the new home for the safari drivers. We're super excited. We're actually moving into a bigger place. Now, if you ever have any animal questions, you can always write us at 1 Safari Way, Magadi Glen, Harambe Wildlife Reserve. But if the mail takes too long and you do want your questions answered sooner rather than later, you can always come on up to my front row or my front window after we're done here at the dock. I'd be more than happy to try my best to answer any questions that you guys may have, animal related or not. But I will say, if I have any wilderness explorers on board with me here today, the name of my truck is the Simba 1. Simba like the lion and 1 like the number. You're going to write that in your book and just take it across the entrance of Safari. It's just opposite to it. There's a little hut there with the wilderness explorers inside who can help grant you your safari badge. Once again, name of my truck is Simba 1. And it does look like we are making our way to the end of our journey, traveling through what I like to call Farewell Falls. But you know, saying goodbye is far too sad and far too final. We don't want to be sad here, so instead I'm going to leave you with a Swahili word or two. The first one is kwaherini. Kwaherini means to go well. So I want you guys to go well and have a great rest of your day out here. And of course, asante sana. Asante sana does mean thank you. Of course, we want to thank you for riding with us here today.
Asante Sana, squash banana.
If we didn't get to see your favorite animal out and about on the safari, do feel free to come back and ride with us again. After all, no two safaris are ever going to be the same. You never know what you might see or hear out here. We'd love to have you back as well. Now before we make our way on up to the dock, some safety rules. Do make sure that we remain fully seated until I come up to the dock and make a full and complete stop. If you're sitting on the right hand side, watch your fingers and toes. The doors are going to slide open.
I agree, John,
The
very
warden's going
much.
to grab them for you as well, so don't try to grab onto those doors. And of course, make sure those face coverings are covering both your nose and mouth before you disembark from the vehicle. Once again, friends, my name is Jordan. You guys have been riding the Simba One here at Kilimanjaro Safaris. I hope you guys go wild, go well, and have a great rest of your day here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Watch your hands, arms, feet, and legs on the right-hand side. Doors are sliding open. Alrighty, my friends, Asante Sana.
Got everything? Yeah. That acceptable?
Yeah. I sat down too long.
I got a good shot of the rhino.
Hey, sit here for just for a second. Alright, guys. Glad y'all enjoyed that. That was our pleasure to stream it. But we are going to go because the phone's about on its last leg. We're going to give the phone a chance to recharge and a chance to let my arm rest. So, we'll see you guys back here in a little bit, okay? Thanks.